What's up YouTube, Dow here from Zephyr War Games, and today I am bringing you the best deck. This is Pendulum Magicians. Now specifically Pendulum Magicians, I'm not playing any of the Endymions, but the idea behind this deck and the creation behind this deck is that you do so much without committing any of your free summoning mechanics. And what I mean by that is you play a lot of extenders that you pretty much summon for free to get your combo going. You also have normal summons that get your combo going, and you also have your pendulum summon. So the idea is that through one of those free mechanics on their own, you're baiting out as many hand traps, as many interruptions as possible to your opponent, and even if they do stop one of those routes, the other two routes will still work together in order to give you the best end board of either saying to your opponent, nope, you're not going to play it and I'm going to OTK you the next turn, or they're just saying, I'm going to OTK you this turn. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification button, and subscribe. If you get it up to at least 50 likes, I'll bring you a full test hand, in-depth combo breakdown of this entire deck so you can see how it operates and the end goal that it aims to get to and how consistently it can do it. Other than that, let's crack straight head first into the profile. So we'll go with the starters first, and what I mean by the starters is any of these cards on their own can be conducted as their normal summon in order to get you where you need to go. So you've got your Tuning Magician, you've got your Zoro, and then you've got your Harmonizing. Now, Harmonizing you only ever really want a normal summon if you've got Oath Dragon and able to bring it back. But the idea is that these cards, plus, and we're going to skip ahead a little bit into the spells, are your tuners. So for the spells, we are playing, spoiler, double Ready Fusion. Now, the idea is that if you combo off any of these, ideally Ready Fusion because it is a free extender without conducting a normal summon, with any of your extenders, you're able to build the Halley Firebrax play. Now the Halley Firebrax play will lead you all the way up to either the Scythe Dagda play, or it will also lead you into the Appaloosa play, so it means everything else, which would be your Pendulum summon, is all protected. Zoro is a 1 card on his own. If you have a level 4 spellcaster in hand, he special summons it for free. So as long as you've got that, you're free to go. But on his own, he can give you a free extender because you equip him with Artemis. Artemis then searches you out Crowley. And then as long as you've got another discard that is on his own, through your normal summon, a full route to the exact same combo, whether it be Dagda or whether it be into your Appaloosa. So you've just got so many plays. Other cards that are pretty much your starters, but what I mean is that your starter in your scales is your triple Wisdom Eye. Wisdom Eye is just so good because you put 1, if not 2 of them in the scales, pop them, and then you get into your ideal scales. And what I mean by ideal scales is these are the scales you want to be ending with, and that's triple Oath and double Iris. So ideally your scales wants to be Oath and Iris. That's how you want it to be. Now, if you were to pop Iris to get the trap, whether you use its own effect going second or whether you use its effect going first by using Tornado Dragon, your second then ideal scale will be your Dragon Pit. And Dragon Pit is a massively good out to Mystic Mine or any kind of Floodgate back rows, apart from obviously Anti-Spell. So this is like your ideal core already. These are your starters, these are your scales, this is your extra deck builder. Like, you've got everything you need in these components right here. Then we're going to look at the extenders. Now, what I mean by that is any of your starters, your normal tuners or anything like that with your Ready Fusion, plus your extenders gives you full combo while maintaining your Pendulum Summon. And your Pendulum Summon, you still have 3 more cards in your hand to conduct that and to build up your scales while also building up your extra deck. So for the extenders, we are playing triple Chronograph alongside triple Curtain Raiser, and then in theory, an extender does become Time Gazer. You can also include Magician's Souls as an extender, and you also include Crowley as an extender as well, because off of Zoro, it can search you out Crowley. So even if you don't have a level 4 spellcaster at the time, but you have a spellcaster you can ditch from your hand to special out Crowley, that still gives you your Zoro all the way up with a discard to give you into the combo you need. So it's really good. It could also early game give you a Savage with a 1 negate if you are massively fearful of a Nibiru and you don't have anything else to kind of like go off of, and you still have like your Pendulum Summon that will give you everything else you need, then you can go that route as well. A card that is just here for the sake of being here is, that sounds really bad, is Purple Poison. Now, this actually puts in a lot of work because it can be popped in the scale, it can be popped on the field, it deals with stuff like anti-spell as well. It is a very good low scale, but it is also one of the ideal targets you bring out of your deck with Harmonizing to then XYZ or Synchro up with. Now, ideally, you could play Black Fang. I just really like Purple Poison. It puts in so much work for me historically as well that it works out nicely. Now, in a 60 card build, I would arguably put in something like Black Fang as well. But it really works. It does its work, and it's the reason why I've kept it in here. Then we go into the meta engines. And the meta engines we are playing, of course, Destiny Hero and then Scythe. Now, these are just too good not to play right now. The fact that this engine triggers off this engine is crazy good. The fact that this engine is just so recurable. Dasher to special for free. Celestial, if you clear out your entire hand, which you will do, Celestial the next turn can then banish to draw you 2. So it gives you recursion, it gives you everything you need. And let's put it this way, if your opponent clears off your scales, clears off your entire board with maybe a Zeus, but you've got a Celestial in the grave, you banish the Celestial, draw into your scales, off you go again. So there's still ways to play, there's still stuff that you need doing, and it puts in so much work. Scythe is the easiest side out when you know you're going second, and if you want to build your deck to go second, I will rely less on this engine, but literally it's just so easy to Scythe, pop Scythe with whether it be Tornado Dragon, whether it be your Phoenix Enforcer, whether it even be the TG Wonder Magician, which I'll show you the combo at the end, but Triff has already done it, which is what inspired me to update this deck in such a manner that is absolutely crazy. So then onto the spells, we are playing Triple Pencal. You want to make sure you bait out the Ash before you activate this, because if you, I mean, unless you've got full combo without this and you activate this just to bait the Ash out, this is just such a massive neg if it gets ashed, but also the best play if it doesn't. So ditching a card and set up your scales is crazy. So if you haven't got Oath Dragon, you're going for Oath Dragon straight away. If you don't have Double Iris, you're going for that as well. If you do have any of those, you're going for a Harmonizing. Like, it just gives you everything you need. Speaking of Double Iris, off the back of that as well, you've got your Dauntless Alliance. So this can give you direct access to either your Star Pendulum Graph or your Time Pendulum Graph. And not to mention, it does give you a scale as well, because that's how you can search out Double Iris, as it always counts as a pendulum monster. Trouble Law of Darkness, a little bit risky in this particular build. In the 60 card version, it's fine because you had space to burn through. In this particular version, you really don't want to be drawing into a Dasher, a Celestial, or a Scythe. It's not the end of the world if you draw into a Scythe, because that you can still go into Dark Phoenix Enforcer, you can still go into other stuff as well. It means you don't have to rely on the Dagda. But ideally, the Allure is purely going to be there to get you into your extenders, to get you into your starters, and just help you play through boards. The final 2 spells, 1 Fusion of Destiny, 1 Star Pendulum Graph, and 1 Time Pendulum Graph. Now, I mean, a lot of you might be like, well, why aren't you playing 3 of this? Ultimately, I don't need it. I could play it at 3 because Magician's Soul, so if I do have multiples, or if I'm like, right, well, I can make Verte so I can burn the spare copies in my hand for additional draws. It can be done, and it can work, but I've tried to keep this as close to 40 as possible. I think it comes to like 43 card deck, but it puts in so much work. There are no hand traps. The only other hand trap that I would arguably play in this would be Gamma, for the pure fact that you play Pencal, it's going to get ashed. You play Allure, it could get ashed. You play Dauntless Alliance, it could get ashed. You play Fusion Destiny, it could get ashed. But I would like to think that the modern day player that is at the competitive level that I'd want this deck to be in will know not to ash a card early on. Like, if you ash a card when they have no monsters on the field, you're probably going to get gammered. So I'd like to think that they would not do that. One card that you could make sure that you put in is the Lambda. But ultimately, as soon as you put Lambda on the board, you're kind of telegraphing to your opponent you're a Gamma, so they're not going to do it anyway, and they probably would have ashed you way before that. Anyway, moving on to the extra deck, we'll probably go over... let's go over the Synchros first. No, we'll go XYZs, then Fusions, then Synchros, and then Links, because obviously the Links take up the most space of the entire extra deck. And it does play some of the core cards that could very well get banned in the future. So, for the Fusions, we are playing 1 Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix and 1 Sea Monster of Theseus. Now, the reason Theseus is so good is Ready Fusion, it's a tuner target, level 5, which sometimes does come up if you do want to be making a Savage Dragon with your Time Gazer. Very rare, but does have the occurrence to pop up. Other than that, you could play level 9 synchro, stuff like Shen Shen, Crocostor if you wanted to as well. You do have some flexibility, but ideally what you're doing is you special out CMOS or Theseus without conducting your normal summon, and then you go into your Halifibrax, and that just gives you combo going. Now, the Achilles heel of this deck is Halifibrax, but even then, when Halifibrax gets stopped, as long as you've maintained your Pendulum Summon or anything like that, you are still able to play. For the XYZs, we've got the one Time Star and the one Tornado Dragon. Now, obviously, Tornado is to deal with your opponent's back row, but it can also trigger your Double Iris and your Scythe. Your Time Star Magician is a free XYZ that gives you protection for your back row, which is where Time Graph comes into its own. But on top of that as well, it can search you out Magician's Soul, so you get a free extender to the board, should you need it in order to continue like a Dagda play or an additional play into Appaloosa or something like that. For the Synchros, we are playing the one TG Wonder Magician, the one Borreload Savage Dragon, and the one Baron de Fleur. Now, this combo right here with the TG Wonder Magician, the Baron de Fleur, plus the Scythe is from Triff. And like I said, I saw that combo, I was like, ooh, I like that. I like the way that works. I'll show you that combo at the end, just so you know what it is. But the idea is that through Halifibrax, looping back a couple of cards, you've got the ability to make TG Wonder Magician during your opponent's turn to then pop the Scythe. And if your opponent tries to Imperm or Veiler the Scythe, you can trigger the TG Wonder Magician to sync it off and go into Baron. The idea is that you want to do that after locking your opponent out of the extra deck, but it does also allow you to dodge stuff like Imperms. It can't dodge Cosmic Cyclones, but it does let you dodge that, and then they're locked out of the extra deck, plus you've got a Baron de Fleur, which is going to pop a card and negate a card. So really, really cool. For the links, we've got the one Artemis. You'd be playing this with the Magistus. Obviously, what you've got to keep in mind is that when you make the Magistus combo, you're not going to have the ability to make the TG Wonder as easy. But the possibility behind that is you're not going to go that route. You're not going to go the Baron and TG route to do the exact same play. You're going to go Verte DPE route. Dagda, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets hit in the future. Verte, probably close to the chopping block. And then Halifibrax, like, he just keeps coming and going. Like, this card is nuts good in this deck. Whether you leave it on the field to use your TG play, or whether you get rid of it and link it off to make a Appaloosa play is entirely up to you. 2 Celine, and the reason we play 2 Celine is because she is the gateway goddess into either a defensive Appaloosa or an aggressive access code talker. So some people might be like, oh, you've already played 1 Celine, I doubt you're playing a second. You would have built up your spells so much, it's crazy, including your scales, that you just go into a Celine revives whatever you summon it off it, and then you go into access code with an additional 3k boost and definitely banishes, or you go into a 2 negate Appaloosa, which means your complete combo is protected from everything else your opponent might try and throw at it. So, very, very good. So, we're going to show you the combo, and I'll show you the combo ideally without using your normal summon, because then it still allows you to make additional plays. So, whether you get any of your extenders, which is your Curtain Raiser or your Sorcerer, you need a way into your scales as well. That is the big important thing that is missing, is you do need to be able to get to your scales, but you have so many ways of doing that it really doesn't matter. Like, you got your Pain Call, you got your normal add-in, you got your general searching off of the laws, everything like that. So, as long as you've got any of your extenders, so either one of these two, and then a starter. Now, your starter can either be on its own, can be Zoro, it can be a normal summon of the Tuning Magician, it can be a Harmonizing, but the ideal one without using your normal summon, so you still have more to play through should you need to, is a Ready Fusion. So we're going to zoom this out. We're going to go that we've got a way to get to our scales. We've got 2 extenders, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to scale the chronograph, use its effect, pop it, put it into the extra deck, and summon out your Time Gazer. You're going to activate your Ready Fusion. I mean, if you've got your Oath, like, just to be able to go that bit further, even if you conduct your normal summon of your Harmonizing, so like we'll do it conducting normal summon, because you know the difference. Like, Ready Fusion gives you Theseus, you don't use your normal summon. But in this example, because you've got Oath, like, this just gets even mad. So you're going to sync these two, link these two together, again filling up your extra monster zone, extra deck, sorry. Going to Halifibrax. Halifibrax will then trigger its effect, summon out a Tuning Magician. Now, it's at this point that if you want to go to a Celine, you can do. If you're just going for Baron de Fleur, you can also do that as well. So we're going to show you the Baron work. So you're going to scale these up just so you've got the spells. You then, for the Baron route, you link you link your Tuner Magician into an Artemis to then bring back the Artemis using its own effect. You burn for 400, your opponent gains 400, and then you link these two into Dagda, and then you pass. Now, obviously, you've got loads more you could do. You could activate Oath Dragon to add this back, which will set the Scythe. But the idea is that during your opponent's turn, you go Halley Firebrax, tag out for TG. So tag that out for TG. Because you've activated Halley Firebrax, you go Chaining 1, Chaining 2. Dagda would set the Scythe first. So we go set the Scythe. TG Wonder Magician would then be summoned. TG Wonder Magician effect to target the Scythe. Pop the Scythe. On resolution, Scythe effect Chaining 1, and then if they go right Impel or Veiler, you go right Chaining 2 TG. You sync these two together, and you go into your Baron de Fleur. Now, obviously, you've got an Omni Negate, your opponent's locked out of the extra deck, you've still got Dagda to play with, you still have your Scales. You still have the ability, Tuning Magician is banished, but you still would have added this back, and then let's say you just add back the Time Gazer as well. Like, you've just recurred resource, and you didn't even Pendulum Summon. That's how mad this is. Like, if you wanted to say this and Pendulum Summon, you would add a Savage to the board or a Tornado Dragon. Like, it's just bonkers crazy, which is why I love this deck so much, and it puts in crazy amounts of work. Anyway, I hope you like this. I hope the comment was giving you a couple of ideas on your own. This has a lot of flexibility, whether you want to go Pendulum Magician route, whether you want to take out the degenerate nature of DPE and the degenerate nature of Scythe, you can do. But the deck just has so much going for it. The fact that it can build boards without using its normal summon and Pendulum Summon, it can build a board using just its Pendulum Summon, or it can build a board using just its normal summon, is what I love about this deck. So it's crazy good and fun. Anyway, like I said, if you get this video to 50 likes, I will bring you a test and in-depth combo breakdown for the deck as well. As absolutely always, guys, stay safe and happy dueling.